During a recent appearance on The View, former White House Communications Director Alyssa Farah made a bold statement about Donald Trump. And she said that in the early days after the election, Trump knew that he lost, that the election was not stolen, that he legitimately lost that election. And wouldn't you know it, as soon as Alyssa Farah got on The View and said that, Donald Trump threw a tantrum. He threw a tantrum, he issued another one of his idiotic statements, and this is what he said. It's amazing how these people leave with respect and adoration for me and others in the White House. But as soon as CNN or other cameras get shoved in their face, or the losers from The View ask a question, or money gets thrown at them, or someone writes a fake book, and glorious lightweights like Farah change so quickly. I watched this clown on television saying exactly what they wanted her to say, and I watched the lies. Was she being paid by low-rating CNN? By the way, as soon as the crime of the century happened on November 3rd, I knew the election was rigged and stolen and never changed my view on that one bit. Why do you keep bringing up CNN? Why has CNN gotten so under your skin, Donald? She was on The View. She was on The View, which airs on daytime on ABC. And I know you don't have a job. So I know you're just sitting home like a kid staying home sick from school. You're watching daytime TV, and it sucks. I'll give you that. But it's not on CNN, so why did you bring up CNN multiple times in that ridiculous little rant? That makes no sense to me. Either way, you did know that you lost that election. And as I've said before in previous segments, we know this because your campaign specifically told people like Rudy Giuliani and Sidney Powell that all of their claims of voter fraud were bogus, that they had no evidence to back up any of this, and that they would not sign off on any of those talking points. Your own campaign said that. So if we're just looking at the available evidence to us, it does appear that you at one point believed that this election was not stolen and that you did in fact lose it. The problem, I think, is that Trump absolutely did believe he lost. And he came up with the election fraud talking point, obviously, as a way to kind of write off the loss and convince people like, oh, no, I didn't really lose, it was stolen. But then that lie started to snowball, and it got out of control. I don't think Trump ever thought that his election lie was going to grow into the big thing that it is now. I mean, it's basically a staple of the Republican Party at this point. And I don't think he intended for that to happen. I don't think he thought that was going to happen. I think he wanted to be able to just quietly say, nope, I didn't lose, it was stolen, all right. And now it's grown out of control. It's a litmus test for the Republican Party. Hell, 28% of Republican voters believe Trump is going to be reinstated before the end of this year. That's how big that lie has gotten. And as it grew, Trump also got sucked into it. A year ago from right now, do I think Trump believed he lost? Yes. Today, do I believe Trump legitimately thinks there was election fraud? Yes. He gaslit himself into believing his own lie. Because to his credit, that's how good of a con man he is. Not only can he con the public, but he's so damn good at it, he conned himself. Hey, thanks for watching, and if you want even more Ring of Fire, we encourage everyone to like, comment, share, but most importantly, subscribe. And don't forget, you can find me on all social media outlets at Fair and Balanced.